right, we are live. Hey, welcome. We're at the Holy Rogues channel now. This is part two of Paint and Ponder with the one and only Fluffer Squirrel. uh, so, yeah, let's just continue. I'm a little chill today, a little tongue-tied. So, um, I'm just going to show you my progress where I was before. Let's see. I got to set up my camera too.
Yeah.
Do you want to chat first, or what do you want to do? You lead
Completely up
this.
to you.
What's that?
It's your channel. It's your channel. It's up to you.
Yeah,
You.
that's true. That's true. It's my channel. I don't know. Let's chit chat a little bit. So, um, I don't know. Today I'm kind of like it's my day off, and I'm not very focused. Just saying, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Joe. Hey, Irish Mart. Lurking while working.
No.
It's pretty good. That'd be a creepy T-shirt. Like if people read that on your shirt, lurking while working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny. But hmm. Oh, I had a question because I woke up with some a weird dream. Did you have any dreams last night?
Yeah, I think I did. I can never remember my dreams, but
Yeah, yeah,
woke up like that was weird. Yeah.
yeah. I had a strange one. Uh, so again, I was on staff, and I always have these stupid staff dreams. But this one was like friendly. This one wasn't too agitating. And it was weird because I was on staff, but it was friendly. And they let me kind of create on my own my area. And they were like friendly and stuff. Yeah, yeah, it's good to have you back, blah, blah, blah. So I put up my area with like the comic books and like stuff I like, all this geeky stuff. So in the morning, when the people came in, they were like, they took it down. It was just like, oh, come on, man. I made this area. It took all night working on it. I was gonna like kick some ass. And it was like, nah, it just doesn't fit. We can't do it.
Oh.
And it was weird. That's the extent of the dream. It was very strange. But with dreams, how you get visuals, you also get the emotions, which is really funny. And yeah, that's
Mm.
my opening story for today.
I don't know if I do get visuals because I have aphantasia, so I just can't see things in my head.
What's aphantasia? What's that?
It's like I'm just like blind. My mind's eyes blind. So
Yep.
if you say like close your eyes and imagine a dog,
Yeah.
I would just sort of say to myself, okay, I guess 4 legs, a tail, fur.
Oh, that's really interesting. I could pick your brain about that, but
Yeah,
I never heard of that. Yeah.
yeah, aphantasia. So I don't know if I see things when I dream, but I definitely don't remember it. Last
Sure.
night, I just vaguely remember waking up thinking I really wanted a saltfish patty, and I'd queued for ages. I was living back in London. Like, what a waste of a dream. It was really nothing spectacular. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened at the start of that dream, but that's the vague snippets I had when I woke up.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. That so with a condition you said you don't see anything regarding dreams. You don't get visuals.
At all. So, like, in the
Wow.
day, I tried to do EMDR therapy, but just couldn't really get it to work because of the lack of being able to visually recall things because I can't
Mm-hmm.
visually do anything in my head.
Sure. Sure.
It seems weird to
Well,
me.
sure. Hey, that's all right. It is what it is. We're all unique. You know. I do want to pick your brain about that later. I find
Yeah.
one of the tricks Scientology would use, and it helped convince me, but I still don't have like the counter answer now. Is they'd say, "Oh, okay, we'll prove you're a spiritual being. Close your eyes and think of a cat." And they'd be like, "Okay, who's looking at the cat?" "I am." "Is your body looking at it? Are your physical eyes looking at it?" Be like, "No." Well, that's you. That's you as the spirit looking at the cat. And I'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Well, I would
But
argue that no, my eyes are looking at it, because if my
yeah,
eyes weren't looking at it, I would be essentially a blind person. So
yeah,
a
exactly.
blind person would be just doing what they would know to do. If you said to them, look at a cat, they'd be imagining they're in front of a cat, which might be smelling the cat, hearing the purr.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so I would argue it's the eyes looking at the cat. And
Yeah, especially with
the soul doesn't come from one direction. A soul is omnipotent.
right.
Oh, take me in there. Tag me in, coach. Just send me on
That's
security,
funny.
please.
That's funny.
No, don't you
So,
think?
what's that?
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially when you said your condition. And I was like, "Hey, Holly, what's up?" Um, like you don't get any visuals. So if they even tried that to you, what are you, a soulless person? You know, like, who's looking at that cat? Well,
Oh, it'd be the ticket they needed to get me out of
yeah,
there.
exactly, right.
Yeah, yeah, this
I
was
like it.
broken. Yeah, it's funny how because obviously people like me are just floating through life thinking this is how you float through life. When people explain stuff, you think they're using like they're saying it metaphorically, or using hyperbole, or just speaking in a poetic nature. The first person who sort of brought it up, to my knowledge, I think he'd had a heart transplant, and
Hmm.
he'd gone in for like the checkups, and they said everything's looking good. How you feel? And he was like, everything's amazing. Like, healed up well. Ticker's doing good. But do you know when I'll be able to see things in my head again? And they were like, what do you mean? And he was like, I
Whoa.
can't see things in my head anymore. And
Wow.
then that sparked a discussion, and then people started saying, what do you mean you can see things in your head? What do you mean you can't see things in your head? And it started that sort of a big discussion,
Wow.
as far as I know.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I've actually never heard of that. And yeah, I definitely get visuals in my head, that's for sure. How crisp they are is a little different, They're not so crisp all the time, but, you know, I get all kinds of things in my head. All right. So, I guess we can get started here. Um, is there anything else you'd like to say? Again, I'm a little out of sorts today, so feel free to talk, say what you want.
No, I've got the piece we were working on last week.
Mhm.
All I'll say is I didn't mean to draw a foot there. That wasn't a purpose.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
just something we just discovered at the end of the stream.
Yep,
It's like,
that's right, man. I love it.
is that going
Yeah.
forward?
He's
Going
putting the
forward?
brakes on, or
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, I've got that to
All right.
finish off with.
So I'm gonna set up my camera so it's looking at the page. One moment.
I'm just gonna put it down.
If I can do this right.
Yeah, I believe in you.
That's nice.
I'm gonna, I don't know, try and sort out the lighting so I don't look pink. Oh, it's not gonna be on me anymore. I've got purple curtains, so it's pink in my
Ah,
face.
very nice. I'm working on rounding out the edges. You know, I and this is a good practice. I really do like this art style, and I can see myself doing it again on my own.
Yeah,
Right.
you can find that you can sort of find your own style within the style.
Yeah, yeah.
And say Rika's a great example of someone who's just really taken to it. And they didn't even do sort of art like that before. They did more sort of like audio art, like music
Oh,
and
yeah.
DJing and stuff, song making.
Mm. Cool.
You see that okay?
Let me get my dog inside. Okay. Look. Look.
Thank you. Hope that's okay visually.
All right. All right, cool. So I know last time we were talking a little bit about spirituality, and there was some things I wanted to ask you. You know, it's
Yeah.
for fun, just for fun. You know, you're always in control of if you want to answer or not. You know, but you were talking about Taoism, and I remember the book, The Tao of Pooh.
Oh, that book is one of my favorite books.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. It is very cool. I read it so long ago, though, I really don't remember. Um, but I just even love the artwork, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is a fantastic book. Um, but have you ever been curious about, like, is life just physical or is there a spiritual side? Ever been curious about that?
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, so I was sort of
Ah,
told.
okay, okay. Well, that can be very difficult too.
Yeah, it was not the best.
Ah,
I
shoot.
was very much
Yeah,
told things.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and then being the gay, I was
Yep.
like, oh, so I'm gonna rot in hell. That's fun. Cool.
Yeah, which is not true, by the way.
No, even though I don't believe it anymore,
Yeah,
there's still
yeah.
times I'm like, going to hell for that.
Bullshit. You know,
I
it's
do,
not.
but it's so weird. But yeah,
It's sad. Yeah, it's sad. It's a cult, you know.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of weird stuff.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, my nan grew up um like in a convent with nuns, and they'd like tie her
Wow.
left arm behind her back and beat her for saying like she's the devil. She had the devil in her for being left-handed. Like it was
Oh
not
my
a fun.
God. Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, it was
Wow.
not a fun time for my nan. So my nan's quite strict on a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
but
that's
doesn't
pretty
mean to be.
hardcore. Wow. Yeah, thanks for sharing that about about your family there or people you knew. Holy shit.
It was just there was an issue. The level of conformity that was required.
Unreal, man. Wow. Well, so after all that crap,
Yeah.
did you ever, like, you know, as you're resting in the field, you know, with the sunset, you ever going like, what is existence really?
Yeah, and I feel like I tried, when I was younger with stuff like The Secret and manifestation, and
Oh,
then
that's
just
right. Yeah.
realized that was very problematic and harmful to me personally.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Like, oh, you pulled it in kind of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and just doing risky things that I kind of knew better than to do, but I thought that feeling of knowing better was the thing that was keeping me limited.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was a
Well, you
limiting
gotta test
belief.
your borders. Yeah, it's because sometimes you gotta test the borders.
Yeah, sometimes you have to make that, you've got to make that that payment to show that you are really a believer, and I was doing that to myself. um
Yeah.
so yeah, that wasn't great.
Yeah.
And then there's been, I've definitely searched and looked around,
Yeah.
um but there's just something that always gives me like the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
Sure. Um,
Uh,
well, there's so much, like, I mean, I can see what you mean, like, there's a lot of bullshit out there, and like, you don't want to get attached to it. Um, Now the heebie-jeebies, do you get it from like spiritual side, or do you get it more like, oh, the spirit side scares me, or do you get
um,
like just
I guess
creeped out?
I think from people who claim to know it all and to have
Oh,
the answers,
yeah,
I'm like, it just
yeah.
says
That is
lack of
heebie-jeebies.
self-awareness, or
Yeah, that is heebie-jeebs. That's
um yeah. And I know I'm not, that intelligent, and I know I'm not that um in touch with um what's dangerous and what's, completely right. And I know that I'm not even in line with what's completely ethical, because I'm always trying to learn and do better, and someone who knows doesn't have to
I
constantly
don't think,
try to.
yeah, yeah. I would never put your pressure on yourself like that. Yeah, I mean, I can never be the most ethical. No way. I'm just saying, like, you can't be a saint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's impossible. But I'm always willing to be wrong. Like, what if it's just physical? And like, I might find that out. You know, uh, it could be. I can be dead wrong, and I'm willing to experience that. It's just
I
that I
think
have.
that I'm quite close to being right, because my only belief is I don't have a clue, and probably wouldn't if it slapped me in the face.
Yeah, you're right. There you go. Yeah. Uh, However, those face slaps, um, I've claimed to have a couple of them, and they could do something to you sometimes. But um, yeah, we don't know everything at all. There's a lot of mystery, a lot, and I've kind of avoided this subject, but it kind of came up on a video in one of my feeds. Is the discussion about CERN?
What's that? Sorry.
CERN, CERN, and the very very little I know about it. It's a real scientific thing. They have a machine. I call it machine. I don't know what else to call it. And from what I understand, again, I could be ignorant on this, is that they're trying to mimic the Big Bang Theory, literally. Like it's in Switzerland, and they've got this like crazy machines, and they're trying to find out um, what's moving gravity and all that stuff. And they found this stuff called dark matter,
Yeah.
and how dark matter is extremely volatile. Like a grain of it can explode. It's like four nukes or something. I don't know. Just seeing if you had any knowledge about CERN.
No, I think I've heard something mentioned, but not enough
Same
to.
here. Yeah, I never looked into it, but they did a whole ritual and everything, like a crazy looking ritual on the opening of CERN and all kinds of weird shit.
Wow.
Anyway,
I'm quite, I'm curious, but then there's certain things where I'm like, we should leave that well alone, and I just do. Like, if someone said, "Don't press that button" or "Don't open the box," I would just like forget about it.
yeah, hmm yeah. if it doesn't grab me, yeah, I'm like, nah. Uh, mm-mm. Hey, Nico.
Hello, hello.
So, if you guys have questions in the audience, feel free. Gives us stuff to talk about. Ask anything you like.
I didn't need that much doing to it. What else do I want to do?
All right, I got. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of want to put some more stuff on there, but what, I don't know.
Hmm.
So what were you going to say?
Oh, just a real silly question, a fun one. All right, so if you could have any superpower, you could have two abilities. What would they be?
Two abilities.
Yep. It's
Uh,
tough. I know. It's just so many.
okay, I would be immortal, except I could kill myself.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure any gift that I pick where I'm not also immortal, someone would want to unalive me.
Ah, that's interesting.
And then my second, something that's not going to drive me mad. I can multiply things by touch
Oh, that's
when I
cool.
desire. When I desire.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So you watch me get my hand on some coal, they're gonna want to do me in. I'm gonna be like, free coal for everybody. Give me a bit of firewood. Bring me a fish. Don't worry about the rods for a while.
Right? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and then all I'd need is like transport.
Yeah, that's about it. You get yourself to that destination and start making all that gold.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of gold. Yeah, that was a good question. I really like that.
Oh, that's cool. Do you think
What
of
would
any
you
other?
have?
Oh gosh, a simple question, but I'd have to ponder it, even though I asked it. Um, I like some of the really simple ones, which is boring, but like invisibility. Just I like the
Ooh.
idea of like just walking around and being like a ghost, and observing observing things behind the scenes, be able to fight crime.
See, invisibility always scared me because I always thought,
Oh,
well, what do you want to do? What do you want to get away with without being seen?
well, it's more like for some reason, it's like the peace. It's almost like flight. Like you ever like fly up to the sky at night, just be alone, it's a peaceful. I don't know. It sounds kind of strange, but
You could just move to a big city because I'm pretty invisible in a big city.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um, let's see.
Would your invisibility include being able to like walk through walls and stuff?
Well, yeah, that's what do they call that? Um, intangibility, maybe.
Oh,
Um, I forget the word, but no, that would be a second power. That
ah,
would have to be a second one. But the invisibility is like, see, I've always been fans of like combat that's not in your face.
Yeah.
And so I like to be able to be evasive and, you know, be mysterious like that. Not, and that, of course, you can turn it on and off at will. You know, imagine fighting somebody and they turn invisible. This would be tough. It's comic book style. I don't mean real fights, you know. So let's see here.
And I'd only want to be able to, unalive myself. Not nothing morbid, but just because, once all my
Oh
loved
yeah.
ones go, I'm not going to want to stay around cloning bits of coal with my hands.
Yeah, but you have the chance to like, okay, I'm going to move to another country and start a different identity, and you know, I've read comics where people are um, immortal.
I know, but I'm a mourner. Oh, I couldn't imagine it. I'd be so dramatic. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, no more animals just because I can't deal with the heartbreak of even the ferrets going. I just love them so much. And the thought of being around, if something happened to my daughter, I just couldn't. I'd be like,
Oh,
no,
right. No, that's
no,
true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to make any more gold.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can definitely see that. So we have Nico. Oh, thanks. The ghost crucifix, although I'm 99% sure it's not. Oh, let me see here. Like, my window is so small. It's just my logo. Yeah, I did that back in 2020 and January 6th. It was on Three Kings Day. And yeah, it has a lot of meaning for me. I'm happy I got it. I do want another tattoo, but I'm very picky. So I gotta think of the right symbol. My wife and I, our bird is the cardinal. Her bird is the cardinal, and I like it too. So I wouldn't mind getting a tattoo of that. Um, yeah, I love symbolism. I think the spirit definitely communicates a lot through symbolism. Definitely. Thanks, Joe. Um, oh, that's cool, Nico. Yeah, I do want to get more. So Nico says,
Okay.
I would love to have the ability to heal emotional hurts, like to accelerate it.
But then you need a secondary power to get you out of if someone kidnaps
Yeah.
for your power. You see, this is why it
Yeah.
was such a good question from the Holy Rogue with the two, because three, you can start getting greedy. Two, it's like, right, you pick the one power for the greater good of humanity, and the second one to stop evil people stealing you. This is just my trauma speaking.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh yeah, it's a smart idea. Right, like if they do steal you, and like you know, every superhero has their villain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, jet right out of there, flying. Yeah, nice, nice.
Uh, oh man, let's see. So it'll be interesting to see this summer or spring how we do with the protesting. I mean, obviously it's going to be good, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's stuff happening over in Europe as well. So that's it's going to be fun. Well, not fun. It's going to be, well, I hope fun, but it's going to
Yeah, I
be
know. I hope so. No, it is going to be fun because of the products, because of the morale. We're going to have good morale.
yeah.
Morale makes it fun, and it was nice to see the Chicago team again. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and Trashy was back out.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Really great. And this I'm hoping the new site will be out very, 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 very soon. But this
Yep.
is why when some people said, "Oh, why is so and so still on there? They haven't been out in ages." It's, oh yeah, because no one's, no one's contracted to hit their stats for anything. They'll, when they have
Mm-hmm.
time, we're lucky that they're going to join in on the protest. And when they're busy, then we just wish them the best and hope they're having a nice time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Hmm.
And people have lives.
Yes, people have lives.
Moth.
Doesn't matter.
So
Doesn't matter to an immortal person, though.
Nico said, soon we'll have my first leg tattoo, Mothman.
Oh, what?
Start my cryptid leg.
Oh, your foot? I
I
think I'm
don't.
missing. I think I'm missing what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Nico's getting a leg tattoo.
Oh, okay. So let's check it out.
Mothman. Well, maybe I'm missing.
Mothman, that's cool. Wait, Mothman is from the Godzilla?
You
I'm
know,
not
I'm just
sure.
wondering what if, because it, because I don't know what it's got to do with knee and joint issues, but I think I'm very slow and also dyslexic, so I am going to gracefully bow out of this as me not understanding.
No, oh yeah, no, that's Mothra. That's right. I'm not sure who Mothman is, but I'm sure it's a cool symbol. I'm sure he kicks some ass in his weird moth-like abilities. Cryptid. Nice. That would be kind of frightening. I do love characters that are frightening but good. Like Ghost Rider, um, Blade. Like Mothman. I really don't know who he is. I'll check him out. But imagine a superhero, whatever, who calls himself Mothman, and what kind of crazy abilities would he have?
Being
He comes,
blind, going
yeah, he
towards the
comes out at night. Comes out at night. Moths tend to be kind of like, hey, for lack of a better word, like lack of beauty. Lack of beauty.
some
It
moths are
depends.
not like them, but some look pretty.
Yeah, some do. Right. Uh, yeah, that'd be an interesting character. He's got a shiny, shiny. Yeah, I will. I will Google Mothman statue. That's awesome.
I got the ones on my tattoos on my arm. I fell asleep through, so I'm a bit nervous to have more on my arm because they overdid one.
Oh,
Can't see. Yeah, they overdid this one. It was meant to be half and half, half and half, but because I fell asleep, it got shaded too much.
wow. Huh.
I fell asleep through most of them. I got my owl, my wise owl.
Oh, nice. That's my wife's symbol for sure.
They got us in the above the peace. Got peace sign there. We've got energy, Unity and diversity. They're my symbols.
That's cool.
What else? I've got the Buddha.
Mm-hmm. Harmony.
Yeah, this is all my 20s. Me in my 20s being like super cute. So yeah, being indecisive is probably better than being like, I will get everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd rather be indecisive, even though that has its drawbacks, for sure. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I have both. I have impulsivity, but I also have like indecisiveness. It's weird.
Yeah, I have tattoos that I forgot about. Like people say, "What's that on your back?" I'm like, "I don't know. Get it off." Like it's a tattoo. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know."
Uh,
I got stars, moon, sun. I got it all back there.
uh, well.
Have you watched The Good Place?
The Good Place?
Yeah,
No, I never heard of it.
it's on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Like we could check that out. We'll check it out. What's it about?
I feel like anything I say would be a spoiler for at
Oh,
least the
yeah.
first episode.
How's about this? Can you tell me what genre?
Well,
Is
it's
it?
like it's funny, but also um philosophical.
Yep.
Um
Would you
it
call it a dramedy?
yes, it's like comedy, philosophy, ethics, but in like really palatable.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's really, really clever. The whole thing's so clever, and they had to watch it like 2 times minimum. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, Nico said it will make you laugh, cry, and think. That's it.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
nice.
Nico nailed
Yeah.
it.
The Good Place.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name in it? What's the big man's name? And then Kirsten someone in it as well. And then
Hmm. Let's see.
Ted Danson.
Oh yeah. He's old school. I remember him from Cheers.
Yeah, he's
Back in,
really good.
oh
Really
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yep, he is a good actor. Let's see what color. Color.
And they didn't drag it on. Like they could have got a few more series out of it, but they didn't. They just ended it because they went, this is the
Yeah,
perfect thing to finish it with. And it really was.
yeah, I like when they do that.
Even
It's
though I
good.
felt personally betrayed.
All right, now I'm getting to the good part, the coloring. Yeah, I can see how one can perfect this and just make some nice pieces like yourself. And it's cool.
Yeah, I think the other one, I'm gonna find like an animal that inspires me from inspiration from this picture. I'm like, I'm almost thinking insect now I've said animal. But I'm probably gonna think of something and then draw that over the top of this.
Oh, you
And
draw it
then
over the top. Okay.
yeah, and then I'll go in again and go over the lines maybe with pen
Hmm.
and
Oh,
maybe just do that in a different color. We'll see.
Hmm.
But I'm going to do something with that.
Interesting.
Caterpillar. Ooh. Yes. The twists a while. Kirsten Bell. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Irishman. Kristen Bell, not Kirsten.
Oh,
Kristen.
Kristen Bell.
Jeez. I'm sorry, my reading's just not the right.
Christian Bell. Christian Bell.
Oh, yeah. We just don't leave that to me.
Oh, let's see now.
Yeah, I know you have your own style of religion and beliefs.
Yeah, I just do my own, like, yeah, I hear you.
I
Hmm.
would presume if I was going to sort of go by my own sort of thing, I would try and take any sort of unhelpful things like shame and guilt, like just unnecessary
Yeah,
out
it
of
is.
that. Is that something that you've
It
done?
is completely. It is completely miss. It's wrong. Let's, again, not to be preachy, right? Because whenever I mention scripture, I feel like, oh, trigger warning, But there's, it's actually a very kind book. It's a good book. Um, it's just the way it's interpreted and taught. If you read it on your own without anybody freaking telling you what it means, it would be a very peaceful book in my experience. So one of the great passages in there I thought was God is telling, I don't know who, or maybe the reader, don't be upset with my disciplines, because I've been through some tests, I feel like. And he goes, don't be upset with my disciplining you or anything. It's because I love you. And, I found at the end of that discipline, coming out of the other end, actually better. But again, that's just me, nobody else. It's me and the Lord, whether you believe in the Lord or not. And it's a cool experience. So as far as shaming and all that shit, that's just made up. That's just created for power and what have you. The
Oh, yeah.
Christian, yeah, the Catholic Church, especially, like, the history is so dark and ugly. You can't ignore it. They used it for crazy power. They were the government.
Yeah.
They were the government. And shaming people was a weapon. It was like, we get rid of this political opponent, and let's shame them in something. And, oh, you're against God. They just use it vainly, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, get rid of the shame for sure. It's not. It's just weaponized.
Yeah, I think that was like a massive point when I was younger, is like, why would an all-loving person just want to make people feel so bad all the time?
I've studied that too, like, looked into it. I've got my own answer, and it might seem weird to people, but to say it simple, to say it simple, right? Uh, I think my weird, fucked up brain. I think that
Mm,
I think that we know the story of Satan to a degree. We know that he was the highest of the angels, and he wanted to be the same level of power as God. And that's in the scriptures. He never said he wanted to be above God, because there is no above. He wanted to be as powerful as. And so he challenged him for that. And you have intentions that we don't know. Now, why did he challenge him? He had everything he wanted. And a war took place in heaven, and 1/3 of the angels were taken by Lucifer, and a spiritual war took place. Lucifer was cast down to earth like a thunderbolt, just like boom. We see that in Marvel Comics with Thor and shit. It's just like, but I have a feeling, because I think about it, I go, why is it like the way it is? He made them immortal. He made them out of love. And imagine you made a promise to your creations, I'll never kill you, I'll never destroy you. I'll never kill you, rather. So this person, let's, for lack of a better name, let's call him Lucifer, right? Um, he uses that and has been hating God out of, what's the word? Spite is not the right word, but it's pretty harsh. And so he's just wrecking the shit out of it. And I think that's why we got the pollution, we've got all this other shit going on. And it's a cycle. Like, God, did he go back and rewrite it? Like, did he go back and he knew everything was going to happen? So it's almost like it was recorded on video, and then he just went back and said, oh, okay, he's going to do this, so I'm going to do this. I don't know. I'm kind of mumbling. I'm kind of acting strange, but I hope you can track with what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
it's a strange concept. Like, I wonder. It's not that is what I believe. It's just like, I could see how that could be, because I think, again, this is where we get weird. I get weird, but I can see how the end of something is coming, and it's not the end of our civilization in the 80s or 90s. No, it's like something major is going to be happening. We all feel it, I think, in one way or another. And some believe that could be, the return of Jesus, return of the King, whatever. I know I'm not talking to a Christian based group. I'm just saying my ideas. I don't necessarily believe all my ideas, but they get pretty out there. In a sense of schizophrenic, like, my ideas are pretty out there.
Yeah. I think it's good to explore your own ideas, and I feel like um without the community that religion has brought for many years, there's definitely a lot of more people who are isolated and lonely and
Oh yeah, oh
not
yeah.
feeling great. So I completely agree and acknowledge that. Um, there's a lot of things since childhood, and I've tried asking, I've tried speaking to people, and then people
Yeah,
just
they don't know shit. They don't know shit, because the majority of these cookie cutter Christians who don't actually know shit. I hate to sound like that. I don't know shit either, but I do recognize a robotic person, or a person who really has no wisdom, versus a person. I have to acknowledge myself. I do think I have some wisdom. And you can really see the difference between your classic, hey, let's go to church on Sunday, to a person like myself who's delved into it pretty heavily and even had personal experiences, and it's a huge difference. You can ask these people any question and they'll just give you a surface answer, or not really know. And yeah, that's pretty rampant, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I feel like I struggle because a lot of the questions I have, I've had since childhood, and they haven't, and because I've always cared
Right.
and had such a deep love for animals, I just found it hard being told there was any sort of higher being who was all loving and all powerful and also allowed so much of the horrific stuff in the world.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I thought of two in my thinking process was I thought this some time ago. It made sense to me at the time. Was another another reason, and you have to use your imagination because it's not it's beyond the limits of a human as far as time goes and stuff. But um, hold on, let me think my thought here. You have accountability when you in Revelation. You see the end of Lucifer. You see his fall, and he doesn't get killed though. And that's what made me say he's immortal. God made him immortal, and he made a promise to him, probably like, "I'll never kill you. You're my cherished one." He was his favorite angel, and he instead gets, you know, for metaphor or not, he gets put into uh, the fiery pit. But there's more descriptive words than fiery pit, and forever, forever. Now you go, wow, what the fuck would grant that? That's a serious punishment because of everything he's been doing for the past centuries, the past however much time has transpired. It all adds up to accountability. This is why I'm doing this, because of all this shit you've been doing to us. Now, let's say the infant that gets killed or the innocent person that gets killed. If you do believe your soul is owned by God, you know, it's like the fear of death isn't so strong. And it's like, okay, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know there is something. And with this destruction that takes place in the bodies, okay, well, your soul's going to be free. And again, that's gone over in Revelation as well. There's a crowd, there's like this numberless amount of people next to God's throne, around God's throne, that just ask him and beg him. It says, how much does this go on? How much longer? How much longer should this go on? And he says, in just a little while. And he goes into the end times after that. But I just see all these innocent souls um, being protected by the Lord. And if you get killed in a violent way, well, guess what? That is going to be accountable to the person who did it. Like, we're all witnesses. We all witness everything, good or bad. And that's my thinking on it right now, is that explains to me why that angel Lucifer will be getting such a punishment, along with there's another person too, is the prophet, the false prophet. There's two of them that suffer the same consequence. And it's pretty intense, you know, and it's philosophical, but you know, you say, where's the proof? Um, I can see proof personally, but that's just me. You know, you can ask another person and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I know proof. I have proof." But it's within. You know, that is a tough one always. Proof. Proof is always the question.
See, I just struggle so much when it comes to things that haven't done anything, or if you're born a certain way and then having to pay for potentially eternity. You know, say if
Oh, you know, that's
the
not true
Christian or
though.
the
I know.
Catholic or whatever God is the
I,
one true God, that means if your parents weren't born in a country where they would even learn about that God, then your soul is doomed already. And the same with
no, there's
um,
yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm excited to answer that. But there is a passage in scripture that says, those who don't, I don't know the exact words, but those who don't know of me will, I'll communicate to them, basically. And that's what I've experienced. A church has not gotten me to God. It's never been a Christian church or anything that made me see God. It was my own desire to know about it when at a young age, but also later my wife showing a good example and my own curiosity. It was never joining a religion. I don't. I'm anti-religion, to be honest. I think it's awful today. Um, Faith is a different thing.
Yeah.
Religions will use the fucking book. Religions will use the Bible and say, this is what it says. But guess what? There's how many denominations of Christianity? I think I heard some stupid number like 10,000. I can't even think of that. But, oh, you don't think this way. Well, the Bible says this. And then they're like, well, actually, no, it doesn't. It means this. Oh, we're different denominations. We can't be cool. Oh, you know less than I do. You know, that's to me bullshit.
Yeah.
It's complete horseshit. It's just, you don't have to know, you really don't have to know anything. Even if you had just a grain of faith and just said, let me try. That's all you need. And you don't need anybody really to tell you what's right or wrong with faith. You'll find out yourself.
But I do quite feel that way anyway, without faith.
What?
That I sort of know what's right and wrong, and I do really believe I stick to it, and I am very truthful, and that's maybe to like a fault sometimes.
Oh, sorry, one moment. Oh, my wife, Luana, as she is. She wrote a few things. So she says, "Hi, my first special power will be able to be a healer, and the second one would be flying. So I'd be able to fly over all the world and heal humanity with chronic illness, cancer, depression, anxiety. That's cool."
Yeah.
And she's like that already, except she can't fly. Well, I enjoy other culture and different people. If only God grant me. Love and faith we carried in our souls. Very nice. Um, yeah, again, I know it's okay people who don't believe. There's nothing against you at all. There's no like, you've been given a bad story. I don't even care if people think what I'm saying is blasphemous or something. It's not. You've been given a bad story and you've been missing details. You've been giving the same story over and over and over again without any details, really. Your questions aren't being answered or not correctly. And a lot of those answers are within, too.
What would you say then to like say because I've always like really loved animals.
Yeah.
Like why if an all loving and all powerful God existed,
Yep.
why would they make animals that hurt and kill each other in such a violent and painful and nasty way? Like they
Oh, I know. It's yeah, vicious, savage.
anything like
Well, I've got a couple of answers. One of them is a bit vague. I know my scripture, but not like hardcore. I know some things, but I think there is a time when that did change, and it's written in the scripture of like when the animals were now become fierce. Something occurred. What I don't know exactly. I had to find it, but also Another answer is those are animals and that's the way they are. And if you don't know, like, you know, he gave us dominion, like in Genesis, like the beginning, he gave us dominion over the animals, not like domination, but dominion is just means above them and control. And we kind of have that as it is with our knowledge, our technology, our weapons, or whatever. Um, I would say the best answer, like if if the animals were to be calm, I've heard about, in the new heaven, animals will be calm, whatever. Um, I think it used to be. I know, I do. I think it used to be.
Like, they could have
And
been herbivores, they could have
yeah.
maybe just gone for animals that had recently passed rather than eating the young and ripping their throat out and doing such nasty, graphic, violent, painful. He could have made it so that, the level of available to take pain is a lot less and a lot sooner than, the minutes it takes for animals to be tortured alive while they're being
Well, hey,
eaten.
look.
That's
Yeah.
literally what they have to do every however long they have to do it just to survive. That just seems crazy for me. To someone who's all knowing and all powerful and all loving. That just blew a tiny little child mind.
Well, how about this? I've thought of it too. But how about this? Let's say you created your own Minecraft and you created your own characters and stuff. Like this is from a philosophical point of view. This is a creation, and you have a being who's created it. Call him a programmer. I like that analogy. Programmer, because he used DNA and all this stuff we can unprogram now. We can look at it, the anatomy, through telescopes, microscopes, and we could see the patterns. We could see the anatomy of DNA and all that. I see it as a program, and we can alter that program now. And I think there's a designer to that program. It's not the electronics we see, but it's organic. It's nature. It has its own name. And sometimes I just say that's the way it's designed. What are we to argue? It's like, yeah, it's just the way it is. Like maybe he's all loving, particularly when you read the New Testament, Old Testament, he was all loving, believe it or not. He was extremely sad. He was extremely upset because he did create what he considered, a perfect world where he created humans, but how it got tainted, how everyone's thoughts turned to evil. That's why the Noah's flood happened, was because all man's thoughts were evil. Imagine it getting so tainted. Never mind the population was not as big as it is now, but all man's thoughts were tainted, were evil, of doing some just evil things that are against nature, that are against humanity. And love is not against humanity. I don't have a problem with homosexuality at all. I think it's existed since forever. I promote love. Love is great. Um, but he saved Noah because he says Noah's soul was good. And God commanded those animals to go into the ark. You had two of each, supposedly, but they're not working. God's putting them there. He's in control. And there's other stories of God being in control of animals, of a crow feeding somebody. He sent a crow with food, and it fed one of the people. But it's like, this is his creation. I just think he's taken account of everything towards the immortal, beautiful angel he created. And that's what's going to create his punishment. It's a good story. I can see the others' viewpoints of, how they don't believe it. I believe it in my own essence. I don't believe it like a storybook, like a kid's book. I believe it. I can see it. I'm getting tongue tied, but I can see it like as a factual thing. Believe it or not. This is why I say when I contemplate existence, it comes down to that. Because the world we're in right now, what we see, what we're living in, we're in the electronic age, and there's nothing very godly about it. There's nothing very. It's like replacing God completely, which is fascinating to watch. um, kind of rambling. You see.
No, I completely follow you. It's like
Oh, that's cool.
it's sort of more it's more like of a conscious pick your God. Is your God going to be Google, iPhone, Twitter? Is it going to be, it is different.
Mhm.
It's like a tech age, like a tech worship age. I get that.
Yeah, but it's supposed to happen too, because how else is the mark of the beast supposed to happen? Like if you read 200 years ago, or even 50 years ago, about the mark of the beast, which means you're not going to be able to trade, buy, sell, or acquire anything without a chip in your hand or forehead. It says mark, but it's becoming pretty obvious that around the world, that system looks very possible. Looks very, very possible. And, I see that and I go, damn, this is to me some evidence. And this is to me, with my faith, I say, wow, I see this coming to fruition. You also have a fake omnipresence. Now, God has omnipresence. He's there everywhere. So I guess that has to do with him being outside of time, something like that, because he is the beginning and the end, which doesn't make sense in physical time, but it could make sense outside of it. And uh, I lost my thought.
You're talking about God being omnipotent.
Oh yeah, so it's this AI system, and it's already set up in place in little increments. Like on the phones, if you say certain words on the airwaves, it goes to, a particular place. Those words are picked out by AI and alarmed to somebody, just for security reasons or whatever. There's AI just taking place right now, which is just at such a fast pace. Um, what you say, what you type, everything is being recorded. There'll be a point, in my opinion, where it's going to be policed and it's going to affect you. That's the social credit score in China.
Don't
I
you
think
feel
that.
that anyway as like a neurodiverse person?
Say it again. Oh, like feel like I'm being watched or what have you?
Well, just police, like I feel like just as a neurodiverse person, as someone who's a person of multi-heritage, my dad's black, so
Yep.
a
Yep.
lot of time where I felt like I've had to like watch my tone or tone switch, or I get told, to be this way, or this is the appropriate weight for me to be in this space, and da da da. So don't you just feel just as like a neurodiverse person that you're already made to conform, you're already under a microscope more than you necessarily feel like you
Yeah.
should be in a free country?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. But imagine that worse. I'm talking like the net around us is getting closer and closer and closer. Like we had this big net around us. I use that as a metaphor. And, we're like, oh, cool. We don't even notice it, but this net's getting closer. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be tied up, controlled, even stronger. It's a scary thought. I hope it doesn't happen. I really don't. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm not bent on it. Like, yes, it's going to happen. And you know, I'm just saying, like, hey, if it happens, I think spiritually, I think I know why. And this is just one person, me. And I used to, and I think to myself, man, I sound crazy, but I come to realize there's a lot of other people who think just like me and who don't have a condition, you know, and who are wise people, who are smart. It's always that question of spiritual versus physical. Like, if you think the spiritual exists, then there's something in control. They're not just there as wallpaper, they're not just there invisible doing nothing. And this is my opinion, I just say it in this way. But if you believe there is something spiritual, then do you think, it's just a question, do you think that there's a hierarchy, like a bigger fish over the smaller fish in the spirit world, as far as dominion goes? Is there a bigger spirit that says move over, little spirit
I
kind of
don't
tipped over?
think so. Just like the same way I just don't believe there can only be one Tigger.
Yep.
I just feel like, well, how did you get here then, Tigger? Do you know, like, I just like being curious for the sake of the wonder. I
Yeah,
don't need
yeah.
answers, and I don't, there's nothing to satiate there because whatever, I know how easily I'm bullshitted.
Yeah,
I've learned to
yeah.
trust not to try to figure stuff out and just enjoy the wonder. And
That's true.
sometimes I've got this bush that flowers in my back garden, and I swear every single year it comes back a different kind of purple that I've never seen before, and it takes my
Oh.
breath away. I'm like, that's such a beautiful bush. And people are like, how long have you been here? How many times have you seen that bush? And I'm like, stop speaking. Just enjoy this bush with me. Um, and that's one of my favourite things. And I don't need to know if it even changes or how or why or when it's going to come. Or I just know one day it's going to come, and I'm going to be as excited to see it as I have every other time. And it's probably going to feel like the first time for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Probably brain damage. I've been punched in the head many, 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 many times.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, really.
Oh, it was by choice. I have combat sport history in combat sport.
Oh, that's cool. No, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it like kickboxing or something? Or
If I tell you what sport it was and you find out even my first name, people will be able to find me so quickly. So I can't. I'm afraid. I'll tell you off stream.
no problem. Yeah.
I won some things. I did. Oh, go me. I
That's
was pretty
amazing.
decent. I was pretty decent before crippled in pain in my bed.
Very cool. Very cool. So I want to read some chats
Yeah.
as I was rambling my crazy shit. Okay, let me see. So Nico, she says, my hope is that people will treat other people with love rather than hate. That's the shift I'm feeling. I hope so.
Oh, I feel like there's going to be some shitting of the pants.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like this is essentially everyone thinking they know best, and And
Yeah.
maybe sometimes you just need to let people find out, and you just need to
Yeah.
see, you know, this whole let them theory thing.
Like, what do you mean?
There was that book that was written, Let Them, that was plagiarized from a poem by Cassidy. Um, but we had this thing growing up called we everyone just said allow it, just allow it. And I think that was
Yeah.
the thing to be brought up with. Like, someone would say something about you, Joe, did you have this in Scotland? And you just say allow it. You know, someone would say something about you and you just go, yeah, allow it.
I've kind of adopted that these days in my older years because I feel this kind of peace within. I'm kind of like, yeah, it doesn't bother me, you know. Like I'm a spiritual person, meaning I just think there's something way bigger.
But
And
like confusion, sometimes the things confuse me and I'm just like, allow it. Sometimes I know people are insulting me and I'm too stupid to even know how they're insulting me. And I'm like, allow it. Because the other alternative is to waste my energy using
yeah,
brain power
yeah,
trying to figure out how they just call me stupid. I already know it. It's fine. Let's move on. Allow it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's my principle with deep, you know, if I did have some curiosity that one time I just thought, you know, if there's a God and there's an omnipotent God and they're everywhere all the time, I wonder how many people they're watching shit all the time.
Oh,
And I figured
no
it out
kidding.
mathematically. And I was,
It's a hilarious thought, but it's true. You know why? Because what if you were the creator of human bodies and that doesn't mean shit to you? You know, it's like, yeah, that's the way it is. You know, like, have you ever seen Nirvana's album cover for In Utero?
I don't know.
Nirvana is the rock band, and
Yeah, I know them. I just don't know if I remember the.
well, it's a cool one. I want to get a T-shirt of it. It's
I'm
just it
working
shows
with the aphantasia, aren't I? I've got the aphantasia.
me.
My mind's eyes blind.
Oh,
Visual
that's right.
recall,
That's right. That's
not
right.
brain.
I
Oh, the
apologize.
baby in the water. Yes, I do remember that.
No,
Now you
no, this
said
one's
it.
different. No, this one's different. This one
Oh,
is the
okay.
album cover for In Utero, which is their last album, and it shows an angel, but with the anatomy of a human anatomy inside, like the guts and the big intestines, and small intestine, and it's really cool because it kind of does say that in the scriptures, like God made us and made us in His image and like Him, in image and in likeness. So okay, we got intestines, it's weird. It's weird.
What if we were made in God's likeness to show how weird they are and don't put
Yeah.
them on a pedestal? And we're all like, no, 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 up on the pedestal you go. In fact, we made you a throne. Praise be God.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I will tell you, I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you in my strange way that I have had experiences. And I do believe in these experiences. It's hard to talk, it's not hard, but if the audience is willing to listen, to tell a perspective of a person who believes in the Christian God, and it's fun to talk about. I know it might sound very strange, though.
No, it's good to speak about someone. Like, I know you're not coming from a place where you think I should rot in hell. And hopefully,
No, hell
I'm not
no.
coming from a place where I'm trying to be at all antagonistic or just messing around or making fun of. Everything I say or I ask is genuine curiosity.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I
Look,
wouldn't do that.
sincerity. Like when I think of God, I don't go like I was saying the kind of the cookie cutter think. I
Yeah.
I try. I actually think with like a personal communication, and I'm like, I feel it. I have this like understanding to whatever limit I have it, and um, It's calm. It's not frantic to me. It's understood to me to the limit that I can understand. It's really neat. I will say though, from experience, I definitely can be willing. I'm definitely willing to be wrong, even though being wrong can be very difficult when it comes to beliefs. Um, so that's what I've, that's where I come from. Again, I'm going to sound strange to some people, but hey, that's the way it is.
I heard this the other day and I'm kicking myself because I can't remember where it was. But somebody said, would you accept the fact that one of your beliefs, just any belief, like you believe the red tap puts out hot water, say,
Yep.
that's how minute we're speaking. Would you accept that one of your beliefs are wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
individually, they're your beliefs. So
Yeah.
by them
Yeah.
being your beliefs, you would have had to like think one by one and had to have that as an agreed thing in your brain. So that's why I think it's just so it's sort of a fruitless
Yep.
task trying to constantly go through that. Like I think if something comes up, then I will check it, but I'm not gonna go running running around my brain trying to think of the meaning of anything. If I can think of what we're having for dinner, that's pretty good.
Yeah. See, my brain, unfortunately, it's always thinks of go, goes down the trail and pulls it and figures it out, tries to, especially if I got my attractiveness to it, I will go after it. And that's a good thing and bad thing, you
But I've
know.
done that with so many things, and they all have things that sound really, really plausible. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like obviously there's certain parts of the being a creator that goes, yeah, that would make sense because otherwise you'd just have nothing and then a whole lot of something, which is hard to wrap my head around. But
Hmm.
then there's like I heard like the simulation theory,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
I'm just
That's
waiting
that.
for a sim to make a little Sims game and then be like, boom, we're in a simulation. There we go. Wrap that one up,
Actually,
everyone.
yeah, Nico has mentioned that. And that is a interesting theory. Absolutely.
And then we
That could
could just
very,
be bacteria somewhere. And then there's another thought that if you put an apple in a box and you just left it forever, that it would it would degrade into nothing and eventually and literally invisible, and then it would at a point again redevelop as an actual apple.
hmm.
And just those sort of thought experiments, like obviously explained it way better and more thorough and smarter than I ever could. But there's just loads of stuff. It's like, huh, yeah, that could be. And it's just like that for so many things that I just can't imagine there being something. Because I have looked and I have tried and I have,
Yeah.
but yeah, everything I think is because the way I see the world is like macro vision. So a lot of people can have micro vision. Like I
Right.
assume if you get super into something, you can really scope down and get those really minute details. Where I
Right.
have macro vision, so I tend to step away and look all around at everything that could be similar,
Yeah.
likewise, adjacent, across from.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
To
Right. Right. That's cool. It's a little different to me. It's cool. It's nice to hear a description of it. That is one reason why I like sociology. I like to step back, you know, and just see how things operate from a distance. Um, I had a thought, but I didn't. I lost it. Oh,
sorry.
so regarding the stimulation theory simulation theory is It's good because I can talk from my own perspective, you know. Um, it seems like wherever I talk, I'm always talking something religious, or I hate to use that word, religious. I mean, talking something spiritual. I don't always want to, but it tends to come up a lot. Um, is that it gives you a concept of creation. Okay, well, if we can do a simulation, like if we're living in a simulation right now, right? That's the simulation theory. Like this table, everything is just, manifested through electronics or whatever. Something created it. Somebody designed it. There's always that one person or people who participated in it. And they get rules and borders and all that. Like you can't remember. No, you can't know you're in the simulation theory. Like that's a rule, it appears. And so, you got all these, it's interesting about it parallels to a degree the creation of, God's creation, where it's the same concept. They want to create, like, simulation theory would be instead inside of God's creation. Like, we'll have God's creation, which is here, nature, everything. And then inside it will be this synthetic omnipresence, which I was trying to get to, which is like we know what you're saying, we see what you're doing, without having to look because AI's got it all laid out and the penalties for everything are laid out. Like that to me is a synthetic omnipresence. Which if someone wanted to control the world, which is coming to that, we're going to have a one world government. I mean, do you think so? I think so.
Oh, I'm just thinking, what if we are AI? What if
Yeah,
AI
no,
created
that'd
this
be interesting.
simulation, and
That'd be
then and
freaking
then
wild.
and
Oh,
then
so
on like a layer up above our programming, it's very understandable how it was created and what created that, but it's just a level beyond
yeah.
what we can
And like, let's
comprehend
say
right
when
now.
when this body dies, like, do you kind of wake up and get out of the seat and go, "Holy shit," you know, that was fun, or what happens after this body dies if you're in a simulation theory?
Bad data. Control Alt Delete.
Yeah, that's where I get start to wonder. I start looking at all these other questions. You know, okay, we're in a simulation theory, so I get knocked off, and suddenly I wake up, in a room that says, "Hey, how'd you like it?" I'd be like, "Holy fuck, that was weird." Let's try it again. Or maybe your energy just gets dissipated and goes somewhere else. There's so many theories, man. That's the other thing too. Like, there's so many ideas, philosophies. Um, Finding your own is the way to do it. But finding your own and enjoying it, finding your own and seeking truth. And if that truth is materialism, that's fine. I just have a hard time thinking with just materialism. But if it is, then it is. We're always going to have that mystery of what the hell life is.
What if the meaning of life, what if this garden pearly gates,
Yeah.
and the whole meaning was you had to fulfill your life as much as possible, and then certain people have gone up there and then they've just been in the closet not living their best gay life because thought that would make God happy,
I
and then
like
they get
that.
there and God's like, I sent you down there to enjoy the the
I
the
love it.
G spot I put up your bum. What, mate? What gives? I gave you the attraction. I put it there for you, and you
It's great.
wasted it. You
Yeah,
sat
for
and
real.
everything.
Yeah, you heard the bad people say that it was bad. You shouldn't have listened to them. I tried to give you signs.
Yeah. Remember the first time you seen Prince and how you felt? There we go. That was me telling you.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's good. Um, yeah, I don't know it all. And I know it's difficult for
Yeah,
other people.
I think if he is like the likelihood of God exists, then it'd like a few levels down where it'd be the likelihood that humans got everything right to the letter and recorded it in literature and passed that down uncorrupted through translations and generations. That's on here statistically likely to happen.
Yeah, you're talking about like the Bible and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll just say like it's a weird answer because I don't. It's not like we can all relate to it and shit. But I do believe that it's possible to get a communication from God, and if it is, like I've told stories about that, my weird stories. But for a prophet to receive that and record it, it doesn't necessarily surprise me. Like that's impossible because I've actually felt I've done that. To not like that, but I received communication, and um, others will agree with me. Not maybe not atheists or whatever, but there's other people who will say, yeah, who have experienced similar things, and it being altered very well could be. Um, is it a supernatural book? It very well could be. I think so. Like, you can buy it at fucking Walmart. You walk around. Oh, look, there's a Holy Bible display. It's like these book companies, whoever's publishing them, are making money. They don't give a shit. But there it is. Like, how come this book hasn't been destroyed yet? And, um, it's just fascinating to look at, and it's a belief in the supernatural. And that's, you'll get your most criticism from the opposite end of the pole of a person who doesn't believe in the supernatural and just won't make any logical sense. But those who do believe in supernatural, like myself, I can see how it's very possible.
Do you think that there's just something inside of you that is just that strong that makes you believe to the point where it's true? Or do you think you're quite confident anyway when you make
It's a feeling. It's definitely a feeling. And all right, so here's an example. Like what brought my faith so strong? I've had a few experiences. I'm not going to go over all that, but I've had a few experiences which were like, holy shit. One of them was the dancing sun, that whole thing I did. Did you hear that one? I did a video called The Dancing Sun. It
I'm
was a
sorry,
couple.
I don't remember.
It's messed up because it just tells me. I describe the story of how I saw the sun move using my sunglasses from the eclipse. Anyway, it's all detailed in that video, and this is the first time I came out with it publicly. And it's going to sound really fucked up to people, and that's what I am. I'm schizoaffective. What do you want? I have to admit that I am fucked up to some degree. To some degree, and um,
Would
but
you call other people who with your limitations and obstacles they're facing, would you call them fucked up?
no. Do I call
Okay.
myself? Yes, I call myself that.
Okay, well, other people will listen to you, and they'll probably, see that's what you're dealing with, and that you both have the same hardships and things that you've got to work, 10 times harder than other people just to meet them at base level. And
Mm.
I don't know, just for the sake of me saying it, maybe I'm a bit too comfortable with you because we've been drawing for so long. But please think about it, because other people will hear the way you describe yourself and assume that you'd think the same way about them.
Oh, that's good to know. I did not think about that. I
No,
tend to
it's
be that.
me tricking you into being nicer to yourself. Sorry.
I appreciate that. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
But still, it's true. It is true still.
And so when I say fucked up, I just mean, I have, when you read the description of what I have and you go, part of it is having like extreme or strange beliefs. And when I read that, I was like, God damn, that's me, you know? And so, okay, I guess that's the way it is. Um, Maybe other people, I don't know. I just can't, I can only answer for myself. And anyway, I lost track.
I
Oh,
think
so here it is, right? I've had some serious spiritual experiences, which only are explained spiritually, unless you want to say you just had a hallucination or you just had a delusion. When you see something, it's really hard to say I created that. It's really kind of fucking hard to do. And I've had a few signs that were just like, holy shit, awesome. Like I got convinced, like that's a communication. That's something. And like the other day, I'll just say it. You tell me what you think, right? I mean, I'm not looking for approval or anything, but you tell me if you think it's crazy. Um, I was putting down the window. We had the window open at night. I had a fan in there and it was chilly. So it's around 2 in the morning. So I took the fan out of my window and I felt this communication, that just said, I saw a star. It was a very bright star. A bright star in the sky, big deal. So I'm looking at it, and then it comes to my mind, look closer, and I see a triangle. There's another dot and another dot, and it's an upside down triangle. But I'm drawn to look at it like, don't move away, keep your eye on it. And it feels like a communication. And I'm like, I want to pull away because I'm like, okay, nothing's going on here. I know I have issues. All of a sudden, a shooting star comes and lands right in the middle of the triangle. I'm like, holy shit. Like to me, I just feel like that's a communication. Why was I drawn to look in the middle of a triangle and to see a shooting star fall right in the middle of it? I'm like, that's spiritual to me. I don't, it just is. Can it be explained away? I'm sure it could, very easily. I don't know. But to me, it's like, damn, I have my conviction of like, that was a communication of what? Man, I don't know. I have my ideas, but I'll just keep it to myself. But it's like, that's one example. And I get that creates my faith. That helps create it. Just like, wow, because I do have faith, I can see these things. And God does say that what they are is signs. They're signs. And he communicates through signs. He communicates through signs through animals with me and my wife. We've had some pretty cool experiences with animals. Um, yeah, that's one example. What do you think of that? Do you think that's like really effed up, or do you think you know
no.
it's
Not at all. And there's plenty of things that have happened that I've been like, wow, that's so weird that I thought to look there, or that I thought to do that
yeah,
here,
yeah,
or that I was a few minutes late, or that I sort of said that was because there was quite a lot of times where I thought something was going to happen and I haven't said it, and
hmm
then I wished I had said. So in more recent years, I'm more forthcoming with saying. Um, um, like I was out with one of my friends, and I said that child's going to hit their head, and they went,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
don't." And I said, "Look,
Yep.
I know how weird it is for me to go and grab a child, so I'm not going to do that. But just walk over here with me, so I can at least try and grab them when they fall."
Yep.
And it wasn't that they were like on the edge; they were just sat on this bar thing, and it wasn't like we're on the edge. But they did something. They laughed and they swung their head back, and I didn't grab them. I missed
Right.
because I wasn't close enough. But
Y-
they fell and they hit their head, and my friend was like, "How on earth?" And I'm like, "I just."
Yeah, you
And
knew.
but I
Well,
put it down to statistics and maybe being good at
yeah,
trigonometry and just knowing, look, and yeah, statistics and trigonometry and knowing if something goes at this speed, there's a chance of doing that,
right.
and then
But
being
if you
very
go back,
anxious.
and if you can remember how you thought and the feelings you got, it's more of an intuition. Am I right?
Yeah, but again, I put just personally, I just feel like so much that we don't know is wrapped up in our DNA. So when you were looking at that, maybe there was a point in time where your ancestors were stargazers and they always looked at the sky and they knew when you seen this certain thing, then look there and you see something. That could have been a massive dopamine hit that got people who have certain depletions in their brain chemicals get through certain things. So it could be down to chemicals in DNA and genetics that you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
more inclined to look up the sky, that you're more inclined to see this thing that you would describe as a triangle, which others may have overlooked, which means you were more inclined to carry on looking even when you thought it was past it, because something in your actual DNA in your body told you to keep looking. And then you were um, rewarded with the dopamine hit, seeing the beautiful shooting star landing there, and then having that magical, mystical experience that you're still bringing you good feelings. So I don't know, but then I would come to the conclusion of, does it matter? No. What a beautiful experience,
Well, see,
regardless.
that's I agree with what you said, except the last part. I can't let it go, and that's the difference. Like I tend to hold on to it even if I do want to let it go. My brain's just like can't let it go. Wow, what an experience! Evaluate the shit out of it. Evaluate. What does that mean? Not in a anxiety driven way, but in a really curious way, like in a very intimate way. Like, wow, I just saw that. Like, that was really amazing. What does that mean? And feeling the meaning of it to some degree. I have my ideas what it's about. Is it just me? It could. I'll always say, like, it could just be me. Like you said, like, it's just like maybe the scientific answer of just chance, and, you know, You know, I have to say, I looked up like triangle, star, trying to find out what it means. Um, one of the answers I got, the more simple one, was a star within a triangle does mean, a sign of God, the Holy Trinity. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to invent stuff either. I looked further into it, and there's the upside down triangle is the winter constellation. And I was like, forget it. I'm just not going to think about it so hard. Just let it go. Just, enjoy it. Let it go. It's an experience.
I feel like people of science and people of religion, I feel like all the best of luck to everyone. It's just not something for me. I'm just not,
Yep.
and it's not like because I want to sit and watch, reality TV. I'm a very, very curious person. I would rarely bother having a conversation about, oh, let's talk about other people. I
Right.
big
Yeah, same.
conversations of, let's talk about things, let's talk about ideas. What would you invent if I gave you $10 million? Like,
Right, right,
do you know what I
right.
mean? That's the sort of stuff that I like having conversations about. So I don't think it's that I'm like completely boring and unoriginal and can't think of anything. But maybe I am a little bit, because I'm just like, I'm not the
No,
person who's going to figure any of this out, and it genuinely hurts my brain after trying. I just get
and
more and more confused.
so there you go. You don't need to then. You're your own person. If you have your own viewpoint, no one else has the same viewpoint as you. Just like everybody else, they have their own viewpoints, point of views. Like if I show the color blue, you're gonna see blue just like me, but you're gonna see it in detail. There's gonna be details that only you can perceive from your experiences, from all your associations with color blue. You're gonna have a different perception of it to some degree. Your eyes, whatever, the way your brain works. And my point is, we're all very unique. And so I'd say just go on your own and decide what's good for you. I'm not religious. I don't really promote religion because I already said it. It puts you in a cage, and it just kind of teaches you what's bad, what's good. Like people are bad when they're not really bad. Bullshit causes a lot of division. So I say my spiritual journey did lead me to God and the Bible. I interpret it by myself. I don't interpret it through some other stupid person. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of stupid people, pushing false doctrines and stuff. And yeah, I guess that's the simplicity of that. I feel like I have to kind of not defend myself, but yeah, I feel vulnerable because I'm talking about this stuff, and I'm talking to people probably who really don't believe in what I believe, which is fine. Which is fine. I just feel vulnerable, you know.
Well, thank you for being open and honest and feeling comfortable to share with me. I hope you're
Yeah,
still a bit comfortable.
yeah, I am. I am. I trust you guys. I mean, I am comfortable with you guys. I decided to do this. Like I decided to start talking. I decided to expose myself as a person with the condition I have, for others to take comfort in who have the same condition, and for others to understand me, for others to understand. Um, well, for me to understand myself. And it's not always going to be pretty, it's not always going to be, fun. Like like today, I feel kind of out of sorts, and I feel vulnerable, but it's totally okay. It's a process I'm personally willing to go through. And I hope those who are watching, aren't cringing like I do.
I can't stand my own voice back.
uh-huh. Um, let's see if this works. Let me see the comments here. Right. Hey, all right. Miriam, hi. Rika, yeah. Turning the other cheek is like, from what I get from scripture, is that accountability is a big thing. So you getting maliciously attacked, and I do believe in self-defense, obviously. But what I get from that is like, okay, take the hit, move on. God knows your heart. God knows your intent. God knows that that person really doesn't get. get humanity or get it. And but when it comes to judgment, and when it does come, those things come up. That's one way I look at it, because it does say that, like, you will be judged in the end. You will personally be judged for who you are, what you've done. Not your love. Your love is not. Your love is a good thing, and that's part of the theory of that. That's part of it, is judgment. And so turning the other cheek kind of says, yeah, I'm not going to attack you back, or I'm not going to react so much. It's one way I look at it. Oh, Rika, you're a preacher's daughter. That's funny. Yeah, you've heard a lot. You've definitely heard a lot. Mhm. um, let's see. Do, do, do. And my wife said something. She said, that is the wonderful beauty God's given communication to us through nature, and delight us every day with flowers, animals, birds, weather, firmament, stars, etc. It's true. Again, you talk to a person with faith, they'll see that too. They're going to see the same things, kind of. Mm. Does anybody have any questions? I'm really behind on these. Sorry. Mm. Nico, thanks. I appreciate it. Um, that's dead. So yeah, and it's also perceptions. Like, not everyone's got the same perceptions, and so if God's showing you different things, then let it be. We don't have to show the same thing. That's where the churches always get confused, or people get confused. You go to church, they just hear the same message every time. But you were given gifts from the Holy Spirit. We're given individual gifts, and I think that's really cool how that's acknowledged in Scripture. Um, that they will be given to you. You'll know what they are. It's between you and God, and you can use them. Of healing, of um, could be telepathy, could be reading other people's thoughts, or predicting things. There's all kinds of abilities, gifts, but it's pretty neat. I'm just saying, it's neat.
Got some people just in the recent chat saying that Nico said, I really appreciate your perspective, and Irish Mike said, yeah, I agree, love hearing Rogue's perspective.
Oh, that's cool. I appreciate it. I feel like stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because I'm vulnerable. That's all. Because I'm talking about things I never talk about with people, and it just makes me vulnerable. But I do enjoy it. I'm okay with it. It's just a process. But if you appreciate what I say, thank you. Thank you. Well, let's talk about what else there is, right? Instead of my own view. When I think about materialism, why it's difficult for me. I can see how it could be. Like, just take evolution. We know what evolution is. We can see it in front of us. You know, we can see things change to their environment, right? But there's still some holes in it, though. There's some holes in evolution. But let's just say over not decades, over like billions of years, things have changed. That's a long ass time. That's a long ass time. And everything's in synchronicity because of all that time. It reached its point of like being in balance instead of chaos. So all the planets move the way they do in this empty space and this thing called gravity, but there's still a lot of mystery to that because gravity is a theory. Like, how are these planets staying up, and how is there endless planets? Like, that's fascinating. But I don't see the probability of that. That's my own brain, and I know how I could imagine it. I could just accept what they say. It's an ever growing universe, and it's always expanding. I could accept that. I just don't see that probable. I don't see it as probable. And when it comes to my emotions, like on a more personal level, when it comes to my emotions and what I perceive and how I perceive them, to think it's just my brain off of stimulation in the environment could be. Like I said, man, if I die, I don't go anywhere, and I just rot. It's that's the way it is. But I find it just hard to do. I find it hard to think like, oh, it's just my brain reacting on my environment. And it could be, I guess it could be. Um, I can see how materialism does make sense as far as like just practicality. Like, we live in a very materialistic world right now. Like, it's dominated by materialistic um, philosophies or what have you, like the sciences. NASA and all these huge institutes are built on sciences, and so I can easily see how one has faith in science. Blind faith or just whatever they say, it's true. It's very similar to it's a belief system, but they feel they have evidence. Um, yeah, I'm not going to say materialism is not a possibility. I don't perceive it, but hey, it could be. You know,
Yeah, no, I don't like the whole materialistic thing. I feel like there's so much waste, there's so much destruction to the planet, there's so much negative feelings, like feelings of inadequacy. There's people
oh yeah,
get themselves into an early grave to pay off credit cards so they can have certain things. So I definitely don't agree with that. I
yeah,
don't
that's
think that's
really
what
true. It's another point.
anyone should
That's a really good point. Is that
literally helping anybody.
it's pretty bleak. To me, it's extremely bleak. It's like it really does say, "What's the point?" And to be honest, and it's like if you don't matter, 100 years from now, you and your family are going to be erased from history. It's just to be bleak. And
I don't really care. Like I would just assume that anyway.
yeah,
Like
that's true.
I
That's
don't
true.
expect to have a legacy. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to procreate to pass my genes down or to. No, I very much feel like I will be forgotten about. I'm not going to add anything spectacular to this world. If anything, I'll be like that woman who passed away, and they did do this without permission and without telling the family.
Oh
But
well.
they studied her poop, and then they made probiotic yogurts. Yay, that's
Oh
me.
my God! Wow.
She made a contribution. Her butt and poop made more of a contribution to this world than I could ever even begin to want to. So you know, something like that might happen. So never say never, but I'm just trying to get by. I'm just trying to get by and just see the next pretty flower I can.
Yeah, no, that's true, and that's a very good way to look at it, because that's the problem with overthinking. Sometimes it just it creates you to be. When I say introverted, I don't know if that's the right way. Maybe inward thinking all the time. Like I'm personally always thinking. I'm always thinking, but especially when you get into that, instead of just like enjoying the environment. Oh yeah, introverted. That's, I guess, the word, introvert. I will always be introverted, thinking of something in my mind. When it comes to the environment, it's less likely. You know, it's there, but I don't know. Hey, how about you guys in the you guys out there? Do you have any questions or perspectives?
I am going to have to go soon because it
Oh
has
yeah,
the 2 hours are up and the 2 hours on the Xbox have run out. So I'm going to have mini
no, you're
me
right. It is
running in
2 hours.
wanting food and attention.
Mm. In my way of throat, God communication is always around us. You are not the only one. For those who have eyes, ears to probably perceive, is a personal battle. Okay, thank you, honey. So, okay, let's wrap it up. I know you guys cool. Did I weird you guys out more?
No, I do. I feel like everyone's really understanding and just curious, and that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's
That's
cool.
the thing about the whole anti-Scientology community that I've seen. People are genuinely curious, and the biggest issues come when people aren't allowed to be curious. They're not given space to ask their
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
To
Yep.
go, I don't understand what you mean. Sorry, can you explain that again? Now I understand what you mean, but I don't agree. I think this. And
Right.
being like, oh no, I can still don't understand what you mean. Sorry about that. And then that other person not getting offended or being like, oh, you're purposely not understanding.
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
I tell you, as somebody on the spectrum, as a neurospicy, I don't try and make people mad at me. It just naturally occurs. Um, if I'm saying I'm sorry, I don't understand, I am sorry and I don't understand. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
right.
otherwise. But thank you for having me on, and thank you for having such a great space and being vulnerable and being open and honest and sharing your truth. And
I
yeah,
appreciate that. And thank you for showing me this awesome art style. I'm gonna do others, and it is cool. I like it. Thank
amazing. The ADHD was strong in me, so I finished off the lines in this. Couldn't figure out what else I was going to do,
you.
but this and just drew some circles. So sorry if you've got that thing where you hate little circles. Look away.
Mhm.
But
Oh man, that's nice.
that's
Yeah,
quite therapeutic to do afterwards. I
yeah,
did
nice colors. Really nice colors.
just in the 3 circles I did. I've just got in those 3 circles and just picked some colours to colour some circles in.
Yeah,
Circles and circles.
very nice. Oh, I've been so engrossed listening. I forgot I have some work to do. That's cool. Glad that you've enjoyed it. uh, it's kind of funny. I know we have to go. Sorry. Um, I was just gonna say it's kind of fun to and nervous a little bit to just be so open as a neurodivergent. I haven't done that. I've done it with my family and stuff, but a little bit at work. But just to talk to you strangers and show you my strangeness, it's therapeutic.
My strangeness appreciates your strangeness.
Very nice. Well, okay, let's wrap it up.
It's been great speaking to you. Honestly, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being here always. I'll see you next time.
See you then. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace.